all these past seasons of Miraculous LadyBug, we have seen incredible things that have made us very happy. Other times we have screamed with so much anger, and other times we have cried. In this video, we will see the incredible things that we have experienced through the Miraculous episodes. I will give you a little spoiler of what we will see this time. The true villain of Miraculous LadyBug is Mrs. Emily, Adrian's mother, and recent clues suggest that this theory is true. Rose has a terrible disease that I'm not even going to mention right now because I don't want to start crying. Keep watching to find out what disease it is. Apart from Marinette and Jeanne d'Arc, there is another character who also used the Ladybug prodigy and is related to Marinette. I'm not talking about Alia or Adrian. Later in the video, I'll tell you who this mysterious character is. At one point in the series, Marinette died. We will talk about all this and many more things. In the description box, you have timestamps of what minute of the video you can see a certain topic. Like the video and subscribe if you want Adrian to French kiss you! Leave in the comments the name of the character you are seeing now. Whoever does it will appear in a new video. Recently, Zag has released a new series called Ghost Force. From the information released by the creator of the series and the details of the story, we can say that Ghost Force takes place in the same world as Miraculous LadyBug, only that Ghost is set in New York and Miraculous in Paris. One of the things that makes this series so special are the references and connections it has with Miraculous. I'll give you a bit of a spoiler from this video. In an episode of Ghost Force, we see Ladybug. Let's start by talking about a multiverse that exists in Zag. In the recent Spider-Man movie, it was confirmed that the Peter Parker's multiverse exists. Zag was not too far behind. This studio has a rare multiverse of sisters, Chloe and Zoe. In the world of Ghost Force, there are two twin blonde sisters named Jane and Stacy. These sisters have a lot in common with Chloe and Zoe. One of the twins has Zoe's attitude, and the other has Chloe's way of being. The girl who has a little bit of Zoe's attitude is a character with nice feelings. She helps the other characters without expecting anything in return, and she is a little bit friendly. But in some moments, she tends to treat her schoolmates badly. The other twin has a very terrible attitude to any character. In a nutshell, she is the New York version of Chloe, since they share the same attitude. Meanwhile, Jane and Stacy's character design is a little nod to Chloe and Zoe, since all four girls are blonde and their outfits feature yellow. This color is representative of Chloe and Zoe because their heroine outfits are the same color. The only thing missing for Stacy and Jane to be a clear connection to the Miraculous sisters is the large amount of money the bourgeois family possesses. The New York twins are a more middle economic class. Now, let's talk about one of the main characters of Ghost Force. The series has three main characters. They are Liv Baker, Andy Baker, and Mike Collins. Let's stick with Liv for now. I'm sure that when they were designing this girl, the design staff were highly inspired by Marinette and Ladybug. Miss Baker acts in certain scenes the same way that Marinette would behave. For example, in one chapter, Liv mistakenly receives a bouquet of flowers, but she doesn't know that such flowers were not for her. While she didn't know the truth behind the bouquet of flowers, the girl was imagining a world of love between her and the boy that accidentally gave her the flowers. The most absurd thing here is that Marlowe never gave her any inkling that he was in love with her or that he felt anything special for her. This exact same thing is seen with Mary. We all know that she's obsessed with the blonde boy. Even though he shows no love for her, she still imagines a future where the two of them are a couple and have children. When Liv transforms into Mist, the animation of the scene is similar to the scene when Marinette transforms into Ladybug. Both characters move almost the same way. In fact, in the chapters of Ghost, we have already begun to get small clues that point to the fact that this series and Miraculous exist in the same timeline. In the children's classroom, you can see a drawing of Ladybug that the students themselves have colored. Since there is this drawing, it means that they are fans of her. In Miraculous, we have Adrian, a young boy who is very handsome and a model. In Ghost, there is a very similar character. This character is found in the boy's protagonist of the story. You probably already know who I'm talking about. Yes, it's him, none other than Andy Baker. He is the red-headed American version of Adrian, only Andy's personality is funnier. On the other hand, the French guy is not so funny. But when he transforms into Chat Noir, he completely changes his sense of humor. As for Andy's design, it contains a lot of Adrian's influence. The first thing that stands out the most is the color green. This color is presented in the sweatshirt, in his eyes, and when he transforms into Fury, the color of the outfit is green with black. This is also seen with Adrian. His eyes are green, his shirt has a line of that color, and when he transforms into a hero, the predominant colors of the kitten are green and black. When Noir goes to finish off a villain and invokes the superpower, he raises his hand and says, "Cataclysm!" Apparently, Andy has a pretty similar animation. When he's about to catch a villain, he raises his hand and his power is released to capture the ghost. Wow! We got a double prize with these characters. Which team are you? Team Andy or Team Chat? If you are Team Andy, comment the emoji of the red-haired boy. If you are Team Chat Noir, give a like to this video and comment the cat emoji. Also, support the channel by subscribing. In Ladybug's adventures, we see that Alia owns a website called Ladyblog. The so-called digital portal is about the heroes of Paris. She posts photos and news related to the villains and the heroes. The incredulous thing is that there is an exaggeratedly similar digital site on Ghost Force for people from New York. The site is called Ghost's Blog. The page shares news of the villains and the good things the 3 New York heroes have done. Bonus fact: the modes of operation of the villains in both stories share similarities. In the Miraculous episodes, we see that Shadow Moth casts spells on people by akumas, that his own progeny gave him the ability to do so. The main reason for a character to be bewitched is determined by the feelings they feel at that moment. If they feel angry or sad, they become the perfect candidate for the akumas. These spells take place anywhere in Paris at any time of the day. Compared to Ghost Force, it has something similar. Some ghosts feed on the energy of humans, and these ghosts can be found everywhere. Only that we still don't know the origin of these hidden identities that surround the City of Freedom. If you have a theory that explains this, comment it. And if the conspiracy has a good enough data, we will make a video and dedicate it to you.
One of the most shocking theories that exists in the world of Miraculous LadyBug is the one that tells us that Emily Agreste is the real villain of the series, so Gabriel was just her partner in crime. That's right, Adrian's mom can be the real Hawkmoth and not Gabriel Agreste as the show shows. There's a good chance that Emily is the main villain in this story, but not many people know. Today we're going to show you 3 pieces of evidence that can confirm this crazy conspiracy. So please pay attention because you're going to discover many things. The people who subscribe, activate notifications, and comment that they did will get their comments hearted. You can interact with the video by commenting the butterfly emoji if you believe in this theory, or you can comment the X emoji if you think it's a lie. First proof, Gabriel Agreste. According to everything we've looked at in this series, the main reason that Hawkmoth wants to take away the Miraculous from Cat Noir and Ladybug is because his greatest wish that he wants to fulfill is to bring his wife Emily back to life. This sounds tender and romantic and rather murky. However, the one who was really interested in the Miraculous box was our beloved mother-in-law. In the chapter where we first met the liar Lila, called Vulpina, we found out that Gabriel has a safe behind the giant portrait of Emmy. Inside it, there's some plane tickets to go to the country of Haiti. According to what Mr. Agreste has told us, we can assume that this is the place where Emily and him found the Miraculous and the Book of Spells. Based on all the data provided by certain episodes, we're given to interpret that Emmy used the Miraculous of the Peacock, but we don't know what she was doing with the powers that Miraculous gave her. The most thing that makes sense here is that she used it to do some bad things in secret, as the Miraculous of this Kwame is broken, and apart, the Kwame is a different creature from the rest. The person who wears it suffers from great side effects. You can see that in Natalie. Every time she invokes the power of the Peacock, she starts to feel bad, such an extent that her health is bad. There's a good chance that the reason Emily went to sleep was because of the side effects of this Miraculous. It's also possible she used two Miraculouses at the same time, and because she obtained so much power, she couldn't resist it, and it provoked her to go and visit Grandmother Coco in the sky. As proof of this, we have Master Fu. He warned us that it's too dangerous to use two or more Miraculous at the same time. Based on this, I can also say that when our precious boyfriend looks at Natty feeling sick, he tells us that that's the same way his mother felt. This tells us that one of the Miraculous is the reason that this beautiful woman is in a coma. This is where Hawkmoth comes in. Gabriel mentioned to us that the Book of Miraculous was his wife's last gift. This can mean that before Emily died, she used it along with the Miraculous of the Peacock, but gave him the book as they both found it. So he became Hawkmoth to snatch the Miraculous of Cat and Lady. In Stormy Weather 2, we heard Nina say that before Hawkmoth showed up, there weren't that many villains. This tells us that Gabriel has unleashed a wave of villains so they can defeat the heroes and can get the Miraculouses from them to bring Emily back to life again.
If only things could go back to the way they were before Hawkmoth and all those villains. Before Hawkmoth and all those villains.
Second proof, Adrian's life. Every time this show shows us something about Emily, it makes us believe that she's a good-hearted, sweet woman with her only child. Actually, this can be a big lie because if you analyze Adrian's life before and after Emmy, you'll realize that his life was exactly the same, only some things changed. In the episodes Origins Part 1 and 2, which are the first episodes in the timeline of the series, it's revealed to us that Adrian is attending school for the first time, given that he's always been taking classes from home with Natalie. Here it would be telling us that even though Emily was still alive, Adrian was still living indoors in his mansion as well as now. You can say his mother was just like Gabriel in the sense that he overprotected his son. They didn't let him out or let him have friends. Well, Chloe was his only friend. Still, it's like he didn't have any friends, since she can't be considered a friend because of her bad attitude towards people. Every like is equal to you telling Gabriel like rest to let Adrian go outside! On the other hand, now that Gabriel is the only parent responsible for Adrian, he has a little more freedom than before because he lets him attend school, he even let him have a girlfriend. These are things I doubt Madame Agress would let him do. Looking at things this way, at first glance, one can say that Emily was not a good mother to Adrian because she treated him badly in the sense that she wouldn't let him out or he couldn't have any friends. By the way, Adrian didn't look at her like that because he loved his mother very much, and this kept him from looking at who she really was. Third proof, Emily Agrest. Yes, Emily is the last test. If you're one of those people who've been watching animated shows lately that's come to an end, whether it's the end of the series or end of the season, they always come up with such unexpected surprises. Such as the real villain or the person who betrays the protagonist of the series turns out to be a character who's a friend or someone the main character knows. Some examples of this are found in Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, where Cassandra, the best friend and half-sister of the blonde, betrays her. Also in Amphibia, something similar happens. Marcy makes kind of a deal with King Andreas, which ends up affecting Anne and Sasha. Maybe this will happen with Emily, since no one suspects that this beautiful woman is going to be the real villain of the series. We just need the part of the story that reveals her true intentions. In addition, most of us think that she's a very good person, and she has a very close bond with one of the protagonists. In other words, Miss Agress has all the things a character needs to be a great villain in the future. One of the next seasons might finally bring Emmy back to life and start using the Peacock Miraculous and Hawkmoth's help to get the Box of Miraculous. Everything is possible in this fascinating show, so we shouldn't disregard this theory. Remember that in the conspiracy theory that Jagged was the father of Luca and Angelica, everyone said that it was a lie, yet in the end, it turned out to be true.
The episode Guilt Tripped left us with a lot of interesting things, and one or more
about two controversial things. So today, we will talk about the most controversial points of guilt trip. Let's talk about the crazy theory that says Rose has cancer. We know that this conspiracy theory is very crazy and sad, but the saddest thing is there is enough evidence to support it, and today we are going to present it. We will also talk about the second part of this theory, which is that Gelee will be the next Hawkmoth just for healing Rose. That's right, Gelee will become the series villain because of Rosie's love. Let's start by clarifying the point that many people do not understand about this theory. People think that since Miraculous LadyBug is a children's series, they should not touch certain sensitive topics, such as this terrible disease. And they're right. But lately, animation companies are placing things that are quite heavy. However, the development team of such series or movies soften certain things in order for it to not be so controversial. For example, in some movies we see that characters die brutally, such as Mother Gothel who falls from the tower. In other words, companies not only create content for children, also for the general audience of any age, placing somewhat controversial things in the story. Now that I have made that point, let's talk about Rose's theory. Let's start with the terrible side effects of this disease. If you take a look at Rosie's physical appearance, you will easily notice that this girl's a bit skinny and short compared to the rest of the girls in her classroom. You could say that she's malnourished. According to the theory, this would be due to the chemotherapy she has been receiving for years. According to the information provided by Gelee, Rose has been presenting this discomfort since she was little. Sometimes it is controlled and worsens to the point where she needs to be hospitalized in an emergency. As Gelee describes this girl's life, is the way how a person who battles this condition lives. Such a person who has to attend therapies in order to heal. It gets to the point that they recover almost completely, but there's a possibility that after a while, this chunk of discomfort will return, making that person have to take the therapies again, which are very strong and debilitating for the body. Another side for the chemo is hair loss. This is precisely what Rose looks at. In the Reflected chapter, it is revealed that once this girl had quite long hair, but as time went by, her hair became less and less. On the other hand, if we look at this girl's attitude, you will see that she always remains happy and with a positive mentality. Let me clarify something. To have this kind of attitude and way of looking at life, it's not so necessary to have a disease. You just need to have self-love so you can live this way. In this case, many people who suffer from this disease or any other type of discomfort always try to keep Rosie's attitude, always happy and positive in the face of any problem. As a bonus data, this would explain why Rose is so fond of Prince Ali. This boy is like an angel, since one of the activities he does is goes to the hospital and gives them toys, with all the purpose of making them forget the problem they are going through. It is very possible that while Rosie was hospitalized, the young prince came and gave her a gift. If we look at this issue from a different angle, precisely the point of view of the animators and directors of the series, they wanted a small sector of the audience to understand that Rose has this health problem. These people will not be straightforward in saying openly that this character suffers from such a condition, but they will show us certain things, with the idea that only some of us will get it. Now, let's mention some of the clues that the series itself has given us. Our first clue is in the character's name and costume. The girl's outfit is colored pink. The point here is that the name and the color of her clothes is related to pink. It turns out that this color is representative of cancer. If you do not believe us, Google it and see it for yourself. The second clue is also related to the outfit, but this time, we find it on the back. Curiously, in this place, it has angel wings drawn on it. Believe it or not, these angel wings represent the children who suffer from this condition. This time, we are not going to show you an image of this out of respect to them. What we can show you is this t-shirt that they sell to raise money for the cure of the disease. As you can see, the t-shirt has wings and is very similar to Rose's outfit. The third clue is seen in Guilt Trip. When Replica enters the portal, we see bubbles coming out of a point and sticking to the characters inside the portal. When a character is completely covered by bubbles, the character becomes the exact replica of Replica. It happens that this animation is almost a simulation of how the disease develops inside the human body. The bad cells attack the good cells to infect it. The last clue is located in Cat Blank. At the beginning of this episode, it is seen that Rosie bets one of her favorite stuffed animals, which is the unicorn, and Alex Cabdell ends up winning it. Halfway through the episode, we see that Bunnix from the future is still holding on the stuffed animal for some reason. Minutes later, the unicorn vanishes because of the problems caused by Marinette. At the end of the episode, Bunnix gets the stuffed animal back and is very happy. This implies that at one point at the series, Rose lost a battle against this terrible disease, and this is the only thing she keeps as a memory of her, the stuffed unicorn that she won that very day. This is why she appreciates the unicorn so much. As I said in the beginning of the video, there's a second part to this theory, and it connects perfectly with the first part. Although, the second part is much weirder, but it needs to be mentioned, and it relates to Gelee being the new Shadow Moth of the future. I know, this sounds pretty crazy. The main reason why Jaluka will be the next villain in the future is because she wants to heal or revive Rosie. As we see in Guilt Trip, Jaluka is in love with Rose! Based on this, there's a possibility that this courtship becomes a reality because they clearly presented that the series is open to this idea. This would lead Jaluka to fall even more in love with Rose. But the time will come when she will not be able to resist any longer, having Jaluka to become the new villain with the objective to snatch Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous in order to heal or revive the love of her life. One more thing that supports the conspiracy is that Jaluka has been Akumanized more than 5 times. If Hawkmoth keeps Akumanizing this poor girl, even though she always fails, it is because he sees something special in her. Maybe he sees some evil potential that Jaluka has, but has not released it yet, and Moth is trying to get her to realize all this evilness. Besides, every single time she gets Akumanized, she does not try to free herself, just like Chloe and Alaya release themselves on their own. Also, her brother Luca got Akumanized 2 times, and on the second time, he tried to hold back the evilness he felt, so he would not get Akumanized.
Truth needs to be shared, not taken by force, Shadow Moth.
No! Luca, please resist. I am so sorry.
Run, Marinette!
Instead, she gets lazy and cooperates with everything Hawkmoth tells her to. In our humble opinion, we hope that this theory remains just one of the crazy theories surrounding Miraculous. It would be too sad to know that our beloved Rose is suffering from this horrible condition. I hope Rosie just has this discomfort, because if the conspiracy turns out to be true, many people will be sad, and will cry when they see the reality of this sweet girl. Friends, something sad has happened this season! Marinette has tragically passed away. The saddest thing that this is not a crazy theory or a silly rumor. It is 100% a real fact. Marinette lost her life in one chapter.
Keep it in. Keep it in.
Not many people know this fact, so I will explain how this sad tragedy happened. Pay attention because this is important, and share the video. This terrible news must reach everyone. By liking the video and subscribing to the channel, you will be saying, "Thank you, Marinette, for saving us from the Akumas! We love you!" Let's start by pointing out who's to blame for the death of our beloved Marinette. The one true culprit is the evil Shadow Moth. This maniac ended up with Mary to get Ladybug's much acclaimed prodigy. Comment the angry emoji if you're mad at Hawkmoth because he did such a thing to Marinette. This misfortune took place in the chapter Ephemeral. This episode was supposed to be one of the happiest for the entire Miraculous LadyBug fandom. Finally, after so long, Cat and Lady were going to reveal their hidden identities, leading them to a long-awaited courtship. The little happiness did not last long, because just as the romance grew, the tragedy happened, and we lost Mary unexpectedly. I'm going to explain to you in detail what happened. Our beloved Adrian had invited his girlfriend out to the movies, first time now that they were dating. The night before, these two stayed up late talking. The moment they said goodbye, they mentioned their superhero names. Suddenly, Mr. Agreste, who was about to enter our boyfriend's room, heard the names and discovered their secret identities. The love of these kids caused the greatest misfortune that we have never seen in Miraculous. I wanted to cry when I realized this. Leave the crying emoji if you feel the same as me. This discovery caused Gabriel to set a trap for his son, to be bewitched by an Akuma. Mary was arriving at the cinema at the moment. She was waiting for Adrian. However, the blonde boy never arrived. Instead, the evil Adrian was there. From this moment, we witnessed the last minutes of Marinette in this world. An interesting fact, our boyfriend Adrian has paid for the entire movie theater to be empty, so they could be alone since he wanted that night to be special and romantic. Without a doubt, the blonde boy deserves an F of respect. Comment on it. So, back to what we were talking about. Evil Adrian attacked Marinette while she was transforming into Ladybug, using the power that Shadow Moth gave him. This made her transformation disappear. Then Shadow picks up the girl, removes her magic earrings, and throws her super far. At this point, Marinette is very injured. Many people think that the blow did not hurt her, but that is not true. They are wrong. Yes, it did, since she did not have the Miraculous with her. Remember that this artifact protects the barrier, even if a person is not transformed into a superhero. Unfortunately, Marinette didn't have any prodigy with her. Hawkmoth throws her hard to the ground, leaving her badly injured or unconscious. Even the poor girl screams when she goes flying. It is clearly noticeable that the fall did hurt her a lot. Not even AEW or WWE professional wrestlers throw themselves as hard as Shadow did with Marinette. Watch the scene so you can confirm it for yourself.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Shadow Moth was not satisfied with this. He did something horrible and sad. He took Marinette to his mansion, along with the prodigies of Ladybug and Cat Noir, to finally fulfill his greatest wish, for which he has fought all this time. This is not shown in the chapter because it would be censored, and it could also generate many controversies. However, they give us many things to interpret. When Hawkmoth was making a wish for his wife to be revived, it was notorious that he traded Marinette's life for Emily Agreste's. Maybe you don't understand it correctly, therefore, I will explain it better. In the scenes where Marinette asks Master Fu, what if the Hawkmoth gets the two Miraculous? The Master said, any wish you will ask will come true, but in return, someone has to lose their humanity, because everything will have a balance in this world. Watch the scene as evidence. Pay close attention!
Well, basically it can make any one wish come true. Universe must always stay in balance. For every action there is a reaction. For every wish a price to pay in return. Had your robotic friend asked to become a real boy, someone would have lost his humanity in return.
It is more obvious that Shadow decided to give up Marinette's life in exchange for the revival of his beloved wife, Emily. Besides, Miss Bug is his #1 enemy. It is notorious that he decided to get rid of her forever, with the intention that she would not come back to life and he would win the battle. I don't think he'd take the life of his own son to bring his wife back to life. It would be illogical. In this way, he, his wife Emily, and Adrian could live happily again as a family. This would explain why they didn't continue to show more of what the Shadow was doing in the underground part of his house. In short, they couldn't show the episode. The main character of the story was closing her eyes little by little in the hands of Shadow Moth. In exchange for that hidden scene, they showed us what was happening in the city while he was taking the girl's life. We saw red flashes. That probably means he had already given up the girl, and Adrian's mother was starting to wake up after so many months. At this time in the chapter, Marinette was unfortunately out of this life. She was no longer in the world. A curious thing that came to my mind when I watched the chapter is that Marinette's soul went to heaven. Due to the details provided by the series, the people who live in the Miraculous Ladybug world believe that there is a god and also believe in angels' existence. Proof of this in a specific scene is when Adrian is dressed as a little angel. Since they believe in God, they must believe that there's a second life after the first. So, I'm sure that Marinette inherited eternal life, being able to enter heaven and live there, because this girl always did good things. It is surprising to know this. Resuming the main conversation, after Marinette dies, Luca revives her. You must be saying, what? Luca brings Mary back to life, and by doing this, he sends Emily to the place where she has been all this time. This guy goes to his ex-girlfriend's house, where he talks to Sat. This Kwame goes back in time before Marinette and Adrian were dating, with the idea of preventing these two from revealing their secret identities. In such a way, the girl would still be alive in the timeline when he returned. So, Marinette continued to have life on the current timeline, and in the one that Luca came back. As Luca did this, the timeline in which most of the episode took place is restored, and chaos is avoided. All the problems Shadow Moth caused by fulfilling his evil wish are automatically erased. Even though everything was restored, we still lost our beloved Marinette in such a timeline. I repeat again, this is not a conspiracy on our part, it is a 100% real fact. The same series gave us a lot of data with the idea that we understand that this tragedy occurred. If you didn't understand this video, watch it again, because we think we explained it well. Miraculous Ladybug is a TV series that contains a lot of secrets and theories. This leads us to talk about today's conspiracy that tells us that Marinette's mother was the previous Ladybug. That is right, Exia Bing Chang, also known as Sabine, was the Ladybug before Marinette. The most interesting thing is that there is a lot of data that will prove this conspiracy, and today we are going to present it. Be part of the video by leaving your comment with the clown emoji if you think that this conspiracy is a lie. You can also comment the Ladybug emoji if you think this is true. In some chapters of the series, in which they talk about Ladybug's story of the Miraculous, we can see images of the old Ladybugs. One of them has the same hair color of Marinette, blue. The most interesting Ladybug of all is the one that Thomas Astrox shared on his Twitter account a while ago. One of the shared images was for a charity event, the other was without motive. In this case, the last image is the most important for this conspiracy. If you analyze it, you can get to the conclusion that we are seeing a young Sabine. After the image, he answered a fan's tweet. In a moment of the series, do you think Marinette will meet the old Ladybugs? He answered, I have a feeling she might. When you observe the drawing of the old Ladybug, you will discover that she is very similar to Sabine. We can appreciate that the hair is blue. This is common in Ladybugs. Marinette's mother has hair like this. Besides, in The Legend of the Lady Dragon, we meet a teenager, Sabine. In a photograph, she appears to be with medium-length hair. According to the things we have seen in this series, whenever a feminine character transforms into a superhero, her hair changes. This could be the differences between the old Ladybug's hair and Sabine's hair. Another thing that tells us that this girl's Marinette's mother is the outfit. The outfit is very similar to the Chinese style. Sabine is a Chinese woman. She was born and raised in that country. Aside from all these things that Sabine and the old Ladybug shares, Sabine lives the same way Marinette has taught us to avoid being akumanized, free of problems and stress. That is the reason why she has been akumanized just twice. The first one in Dear's family, transforming into one of the main villains of the chapter. The second time was when Lila caused Marinette's explosion from the school. However, in past episodes, she has only been a villain's victim. We can tell that Sabine knows insider information about how to avoid Akuma's spell from the evil Hawkmoth. Something else that can reveal the true past of our dearest mother-in-law is her birthplace. She was born in Shanghai, China. According to the Miraculous Wiki, in this country we can find the Miraculous Temple, same place in which the Master Fu created the Vicenti monster. She has been trained by one of the temple masters, one of the few that remain alive, to be the Ladybug of that time, in which she learns different things about the Kiwamis, Akumas, and how to fight villains. This will explain how she learned how to fight. We see this in the episode Troublemaker. It reveals us that Sabine is not an ordinary woman. She can fight very well. This type of ability is the one that a person needs to fight against villains. Until now, the evidence that we have presented tells us that Xia Bing was Ladybug's successor, but something happens that makes her abandon the Ladybug's miraculous transformation into a housewife. We have an explanation for this that the series gives us, but few people have discovered it. In the chapter's Origins, Part 1 and 2, as you may know, are the first episodes of the series because they show us how the blonde, beautiful boy and Mary got the miraculous. We saw that this was the first time Gabriel Gresse used the power of the Hawkmoth, trying to get into Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous. The reason this man does this is because he wants to bring his wife Emile back to life. We talk about this in the past video because Emile Gresse is the true villain of the Miraculous Ladybug. I won't give spoilers, so the link to that video is on the first comment. What we can say for sure is that before Hawkmoth showed up, there weren't many villains. They tell us this in Stormy Weather 2, when Nino hides with Alea.
If only things could go back to the way they were before Hawkmoth and all those villains. Before Hawkmoth and all those villains.
The most probable thing is that Sabine quit being Ladybug in this era because they were not akumanized villains, believing that there will never exist a supervillain again. She met Tom, fell in love, and had a wonderful daughter. In this time full of peace, Emile was using the Peacock's Miraculous and Hawkmoth's Miraculous. The series had a subline on teaching, not every character can receive a Miraculous. It is necessary that the character must have a relationship with another character that has a Miraculous. A few examples of this are Luca and Rose. These two characters are friends of the principal characters. Even Luca was Marinette's boyfriend, making stronger the connection. You can also say this about the blonde boy. In theory, his mom and dad have 3 Miraculous: Neuro, Jusu, and the twin rings. We have a video about this. We will leave it in the first comment. As I was saying, all of this turns Adrien into a worthy character to carry a Miraculous. This example can also apply to Sabine and Marinette. Xia Bing was the previous Ladybug. Logically, Mary will obtain the Ladybug's Miraculous. This is not a thing we invented, it is canon. Of all the proof we have presented to you, also, the scriptwriters of the series reveal to us a few secret things. This is the way they are preparing us for the future. An example is presented in the first episode of the 4th season. In this story, Luca is cursed because of Marinette's fault. He obtains the power of knowing the secrets of any character. So, he starts asking different characters, what is Marinette's secret? Until he asks Mary's mom, does Marinette have a diary? Instead of asking, what is Marinette's secret?
Does she keep a diary?
Yes, she hides it in her room.
Perfect. She keep a diary.
Yes, she hides it in her room.
It notices that the writers have developed a script in this episode specifically changing the line for Sabine on purpose. They may be revealing that Sabine has suspicions that Marinette is Ladybug. This way, the theory is taking force with the idea that at some point it will be confirmed. Surely you are thinking that this does not mean anything. However, if you are a fan of the series, you already know that this series is pretty retailer with certain things. A proof of this conspiracy is Jack Stone as Luca and Luca's father. Before the theory was confirmed by its own series, the animation team and the scriptwriters took care of putting things in specific episodes so in the future it could confirm the conspiracy. The same way it happens with this conspiracy that was developed by the series team, it is happening with this theory. The only thing we have to wait for is that time will give us the reason or denies for this crazy theory.
We've reached the end of the video. Greetings and virtual hugs to everyone who commented on the last video. I'm Ciara, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!